One reason why the spiritual process has become the mainstay of recluses, that spirituality is not for people who want to be vibrant and alive, because generally a spiritual person means he must be like a goat. He should eat like a goat, he should live like a goat. If you show any life, maybe you're not spiritual. If life's experience has sunk deeper than the physical, you must be much more alive than anybody else. But just the reverse has been propagated for a long time. Because of this, large segments of society have given up the idea of being spiritual, because they think if they have to be spiritual, at least they must eat badly, they must dress badly and they must live badly. Isn't it so? So, if you want to create a situation within you where spirituality is not something that you learn from somebody, but something that you naturally live. I must tell you a story. Are you okay for a story? There were two brothers, a father and two sons rather. As the sons grew up and the father got old, he told them that he is dividing his property into two, equally for both of them. He had large acres of fertile land. In those days, question of dividing the land never arose. It was only a question of dividing the produce. You could only divide the produce that came out of it. You never divide the land as such, because it was unwise to divide the land. Today we are paying for it. Everybody owns half an acre in this country and nothing is productive because we divided the land. So he divided the produce of the land between his two sons equally. One son got married and he had 5 children. The other son never got married. So both of them got equal quantities of grain at the end of the year when the harvest is done. So, the son who was married with children, who had a large family, one day a worm got into his head. You know worms get into your head sometimes? Yeah? A worm got into his head and then he thought, I'm married, I have a large family, I get one portion of the grain and my brother, who is alone by himself, he gets another portion of the grain. And in a few years, my sons will grow up and they will take care of me. But my brother has nobody, what will he do? He deserves more than me, he thought. So in the night, he filled a sack of grain, carried it and put it in the brother's storage. So whenever he felt like this in the nights, in secrecy, he carried a bag of grain and put it in his brother's grainage. After some time, the same worm got into his brother's head also. He thought, my brother has 5 children and a wife to support, I have nothing. Why do I need so much? But my brother will not accept my generosity, so in the night he started. Both of them, unnecessary labor was happening. So this reverse osmosis was going on for many years. They were getting old. One day both the brothers carrying these bags of grain came and they met at one place. They looked at each other and they realized what's been happening. They felt very embarrassed. They felt very embarrassed. and they looked the other side and continued their activity. So that spot where they met and they felt very embarrassed, they avoided that spot because it reminded them of their generosity, clandestine generosity, which put them into some discomfort. They passed on, and after many years, the townspeople wanted to build a temple, so they were looking for a site where to build it. Then after much searching, they decided that spot where the brothers met in the night, looked at each other and felt totally embarrassed of their own generosity. They felt that's the best place to build the temple. So, if you don't create that space within you, you don't build a temple. If you want to live in a temple, it's very important that you create this much space within you, that somewhere you reach out, where you don't have to. Somewhere you step out of your survival instincts and do something with life. That your life is not all dedicated to instincts of survival. You step out and do something. If that little something doesn't happen in your life, you don't have a space to build temple within yourself. No temple, no divinity. It lives a barren life. You know how to survive. You will eat well. Yes, you'll eat well, but you won't live well. You'll have everything, but you'll have nothing if you don't have the temple within you. So if you want spiritual process to become a natural part of our lives, it is not because you attend a program or go somewhere and listen to somebody that you become spiritual. You create that little space. Divine is an orphan in this world. He's waiting for space like that constantly. If you create such space, you don't have to install a deity, it fills up. If you just create that space, a deity will come and fill up by itself. You don't have to go inviting some deity, you don't have to create one, it will anyway happen. It is because people are completely dedicated to their own survival instincts. Wherever they go, it continues. When your whole life is dedicated to your survival, there are two fundamental forces within you. One dimension of you is always survival. Just see every aspect of your life, why you have done what you have done. It's in pursuit of survival, isn't it? When I say survival, survival is on many different levels. Physical survival, psychological survival, emotional survival, financial survival, social survival, any different varieties of survival. But almost everything that you do is for survival, isn't it? Maybe even the spiritual process, because heavenly survival. You want to go there and survive. So as long as the survival instinct is on, it's very natural that you build walls and walls around yourself. It's very natural to do that. But there is also another dimension in you which is constantly wanting to be something more than what you are. If you look at it carefully, it wants to expand in a boundless way. So the process of turning spiritual does not mean turning away from the world, because your idea of the world is just the kind of impressions that you have in your mind. Becoming spiritual means you have deepened the process of life in such a way that it's no more a question of memory, it is no more a question of thought and emotion. Something far deeper than that has begun to happen within you. Something else has started moving within you, which is not of the body or not of the mind. Once a dimension beyond the physical and mental has become a living force within you, then you're spiritual. Not because you believe this or that, not because you enrolled in a program you turn spiritual. Something beyond the physical has become a living reality for you.
Sadguru, why is change in life so difficult? When I was younger, I was excited by change. I looked forward to it, I was happy when it happened. As I'm growing older, I try to avoid it as much as possible. I'm not able to cope when it happens.
It all depends who is initiating the change.
No, sometimes maybe, but is there something like an appropriate response to change?
See, one reason why change is becoming difficult as you get older is you have found cocoons of comfort. There are many comfort zones you created. Any disturbance of that, you're disturbed now. When you were young, you were not looking for comfort, you were looking for life. Now you're not looking for life, you're looking for comfort, safety. See, when you were 16, 18, you had wild dreams as to what you want to do with your life. By the time you became 25, you cut down all the frills and thought, this is all not practical, I am becoming practical now. All that happened is you were becoming a coward, but you said, I am becoming practical, and cut down many things and said, if I get a job, if I earn my living, this is okay. By the time you're 35, you're thinking, if I don't get into any trouble, that's enough. You're not looking forward to anything great happening. If I don't get into trouble, that's enough. But that's when you start getting into trouble. So, you're not looking at life with zest, you're looking at life as safety. The more security-oriented you are, the more disturbed you will be with every change that happens in your life. The essence of physical existence is change, isn't it? Isn't it so? Everything is changing. Is there anything that's not changing? Everything in the existence is changing, isn't it? The physical existence is constantly changing. The very essence of physical reality is change. Nothing is constant. Even the so-called static states are dynamic in nature, everything is changing. So if you resist change, you are resisting life. If you want an unchanging life, there's one beautiful place where nothing changes, that's your grave. Either you must go to your grave or you must get enlightened if you don't want change. Then somewhere inside everything is same. But otherwise, as long as you're a part of the physical process of the existence, everything is changed, there is nothing that is not changing. See, this moment you're inhaling, next moment you're exhaling, it's change, isn't it? If you don't want change, you stop it. So when you resist change, you must understand you're resisting the very process of life, not just your life, you're resisting the very fundamental process of life. Invariably, you will invite all kinds of suffering. If you're living and you want to be dead, you will ask for trouble, isn't it? You must be living. When you're living, you must live totally. If you want to die, you must do that efficiently. These are inefficient ways of killing yourself, really. Unhappiness and depression are inefficient ways of killing yourself, isn't it so? At least be efficient. I can give you 10 different ways to die. Anyway, Hussain Sagar is there. Is it still water in it? So, you need to understand this. Once you resist change, you're resisting the whole process of life and you will create unnecessary suffering. So once you resist change, depression is a natural process. Frustration, when change happens, frustration, depression. Frustration and depression are… on a certain day, the devil decided to retire. Because he is retiring, he decided to put all the tools of his trade for a garage sale. So he opened up discount sale, all the devil's tools. There's a huge rush. There are all kinds of things, anger, hatred, jealousy, this one, that one, everything on the table. All of you people went and bought it up in no time. Everything was sold out in the first hour, all his tools. The whole humanity has bought it, isn't it? But he had still one more bag and what's your name? Leena? Leena went and asked the devil, what's in that bag? Isn't that for sale? He said, no, no, these are the prize tools, just as souvenirs, I want to keep them because they have worked best to do my job. Leena said, no, I want it, please, won't you sell that? Devil said, no, 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 these two tools that I have in this bag, they have worked so wonderfully well in my whole career that I would like to keep them as my souvenirs. Once Leena said, many other people joined behind her and please put it on sale, put it on sale, put it on sale. Then the devil pulled out and said, okay, if you're giving a good price, let me put it on sale. Then it pulled out frustration and depression and put it on table. These two are the best of the devil's tools. If you want to destroy your life, frustration, you start with frustration, develop into depression. You're there. There's nothing worse than that. You'll work against yourself. And the moment you resist change, frustration is natural. Once frustration comes, it'll naturally evolve into depression. So, you put it on sale.
सुनता है गुरु ज्ञानी 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 गगन में आवाज हो रही झीनी 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 पहिले आए 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 पहिले आए नाद बिंदु से पीछे जमया पानी पानी ओ जी सब घट पूरन पूरु रहा है अलग पुरुष निर्वाणी हो जी वाणी हो जी सुनता है गुरु ज्ञानी 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 गगन में आवाज हो रही झीनी 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 काहे कबीरा कबीरा काहे कबीरा सुनो भाई साधो जाए अगम की बानी जाए अगम की बानी रे दिन भर रे जो नजर भर देखे दिन भर रे जो नजर भर देखे आदर अमर हो निशानी हो जी हो निशानी हो जी सुनता